Yeah, so based off the chart, Chris, would I have bought it or would I have shorted it? The answer is I would do nothing with this chart. I just think that I don't like the daily chart, and I thought it was gapping up massive for what the news was. For that type of situation, I usually just want to let it settle out. Now, there are traders who trade with a little bit of different style than me, who are more pure momentum traders, who maybe could find a trade on the break of the opening five, or I know in the past on earnings names like Pat has tried to use and has probably successfully used like a break of an opening 2 minute bar. Those actually both break to the downside. So when you're dealing with this large of a gap, I always want to see how the extension gets handled. And it's so extended, it's going to take a long time for that extension to get satisfied. And you can see that the ADMA didn't actually get to price action until 10:40 on the 5 minute chart is the first time it touched. So for me, with these really large gaps, I typically would do nothing off the open. And if you had and you didn't get it here, like if this pivot low on the third bar was coinciding with the area of the ADMA on the 5 minute, I like that trade a lot for a long. For me, this pivot low that's happening on the third 5 minute bar is so far away from the ADMA, I'm never buying it. But if you get this situation where they price correct it for the first 12 minutes into that equilibrium zone and it creates a pivot point off of that, that's actually a trade that I really, really like. So for the people that are pure momentum players, they actually could have tried to short off the open, break of the first 2 minute bar, break of the first 5 minute bar, and then their big picture thought process is the big picture extension on this 5 minute chart, on the 15 minute chart, that they're hoping gets satisfied through price as they, scalp for momentum to the downside. That's one trade. My preferred trade is to wait for price time correction to occur and then look for the pivot in the direction of the gap. That's a second trade. That trade never set up here. Or honestly, a lot of times when the gaps are this big, I just end up doing absolutely nothing, and that's my preference. The gap is so big, it's big for a reason. Had really good news this morning, but it's pricing that in with the gap. So the price action itself could therefore just be very sloppy, which in some ways this is kind of was. So for me, that just means I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to wait for the daily chart to kind of reset up.